Hey, it's Anthony at Land Title. I wanted to bring you the Boulder County market update for the month of July, and this is a big one. So there's a lot of cool stuff going on here, and finally we're starting to see some of that fiscal and monetary policy come into work in the real estate market. Now, it shouldn't surprise anyone that we're seeing a little bit of a slowdown right now. Number one, this is a seasonal time period where we start to see sales slow a little bit, right? There's always a little bit of a lull in the summertime, but it's still peak listing season, which is exactly what's still happening. So we're seeing that inventory level rise. We're still seeing a lot go under contract, but a little bit less than we would have expected before. We're at a total of about 20% down in sales. Now that's coupled for two reasons. Number one, January, February, March were some of the lowest inventory levels we've ever seen in the history, which is going to constrict the amount of sales that could take place. Then, going into April, we have rising inventory environments, and that really leaves us with where we are today. So where are we headed? Well, let's talk a little bit about it. And I think you can't really talk about this too much without saying changing markets change at different paces, right? So the big changes are, Boulder's way up in inventory. Erie is way up in inventory. Certain areas are up just a little bit, right? So when we have sub-markets that are changing slow, some are changing fast, where are we really seeing? Superior is up 110% in inventory over the last year. Places like Boulder are down. So what do? We take a look at this, we really dive into each one of those sub-markets in some respect, but as a whole, we're seeing a rise in inventory market, diminished amount of buyers in the marketplace, which is getting us where we are today. So, but what does that really mean for your buyers and sellers? For your sellers, we're still at 2 months of inventory on the market. It's an awesome seller's market, right? Now, what does that mean? It means come list property earlier than later in many cases. Just make sure you're priced appropriately. The hardest part is going to be figuring out where should that price land, because the comps may not support what the price of the market value is today. So that's a tough one, and I know that there's a lot of conversation around that, and I'm happy to have a conversation with you, of course, if you want to do that. But some of these markets are changing at very different rates. Like Superior's 3.3 months of inventory. It's the highest in Boulder County. You got Longmont at 1.7 or Lafayette at 1.6. There's still bidding wars taking place in some of those markets. So it's one of those times where expect the buyers to be slower, expect the showings to be slower, but if you price it right and it's buttoned up, it still should move, right? There's definitely plenty of people shopping. Now, how fast is the market moving? In July, we saw 17 days in the MLS. That's still an incredible market. It's actually faster than it was last year in July, which you would never think from the feel of the market. We've had less sales though, so in that perspective, kind of need to understand the trade-offs. The ones that are moving fast. The ones that are moving are priced right, buttoned up, and they're in certain markets. Are their neighborhoods sitting? Of course there are. We're in a transitioning market. It's one of those phases where places like Longmont have 11 days in the MLS, so it's active to under contract, and that's really fast. Now you have other places like the city of Boulder, higher price points, things are sitting for 3 weeks before they go under contract on average. Now, what does that mean? It means that this is going to continue to rise for the rest of the year, mainly because that's seasonality. But seasonality coupled with less buyers means it's going to rise a lot faster. We should see it back to a normal somewhere in the fall. Now, the new normal, what does that even mean, right? But here we are 2 months later, then the market has started to shift, and luxury is finally starting to slow down. We're starting to see that where month over month those changes are starting to be pretty dramatic. The 2 to 2.5 million mark though is just doing incredibly well, but it has rising inventory, right? I mean, the year-to-date sales are starting to slow, but the ones that are moving hyper fast. If we look at the bottom part of the market, so I say bottom part, but it's anything under $1 million really, the sales have slowed dramatically, and that's where we're feeling the bulk of that 20% of the market not selling. A lot of that early on was supply driven, and now it's supply driven the opposite direction, and we have buyers that, people that could qualify for 800 now only qualify for, 600 or 700, and so people are having to reset their frame of mind, and you guys definitely know that, but this is a good slide to help articulate that. The second slide I would use to help articulate this with your clients is this one. 3 months ago, 3+ million had 2.5 months of inventory. We now have closer to 8. Yes, that means that there's a lot of competition in that marketplace, so your listings really have to shine. Some of the ones that have been sitting for a longer period of time, though, are selling super fast. Look at that 2 to 2.5 million. Yeah, we were down in sales, but the ones that sold on average of 6 days. So this is a very unique time frame in the market. We're starting to see all of those days on market rise through the bulk of the price ranges where all those the median and average sales prices are. And in that month supply of inventory, we're finally starting to see that stair step we generally see in the market, right? Everyone that has $3+ million to spend on a house qualifies for everything below that. So those people at the lower end of the market, you're going to see those tighter and tighter and tighter. So that 500,000 range, we're still ultra tight. They're moving at 12 days in the MLS. They are definitely turning over a lot faster than some of the other price ranges, but they're starting to build up an inventory because we just don't have enough buyers in those buyer pools. Now, let's look at a couple of other things. The sold analysis, this is one worth talking about. We're talking about Boulder having 290 listings on the market, but 140 sold last month. Is that less than years past? Yes, absolutely. It's 21% less over the last 12 months than we've seen in previous 12 months. So yes, sales are starting to slow, but they're not slowing that much, right? There's plenty of people buying and selling real estate every month. We still have 400 people purchase real estate in the month of July. So that's still a really good sign. Now, here's where it gets very interesting. Places like Superior have slowed down quite a bit. Places like Erie are up in sales because, well, there just wasn't anything in the past, right? There used to be 50 homes on market, and then we'd sell 50 homes in the month, and now we have 100 homes in the market and 70 sold in the month. There's still pent-up demand in certain marketplaces that have ultra-low inventory for too long. So we really need to kind of unpackage that by marketplace. So happy to help with that. We have the data, obviously. Here's another price point slide. This is average sold price. That fiscal and monetary policy, like I said, is starting to work in the marketplace. The trailing 12 months, we were at 20+% in a lot of markets. Now we're 14 on average for Boulder County. So it's starting to slow appreciation. That is desperately needed for affordability in Boulder County because it's just unsustainable to appreciate that fast. We're looking for a target around 5 to 6% probably. That's what I know the Fed would like to see. I don't know if we'll get there in Boulder County because it's just such a desirable place to live. But then, that coupled with the fact that the month-over-month number is down by $130,000 says there's something else at work. And like I said, luxury is slowing down, family homes don't tend to sell as much in the summer towards the fall. So that market slowing a little early has curbed some of that as well. So there's a lot of factors at work here, but absolutely don't think that the sky is falling because it's not. We tend to see that peak in average sales price around April. Anyway, you can see it last year. You could see it the year before. It was in March. So we're really starting to see some normalcy and some seasonality come back into the markets. You can see it here. We're about 20% down year to date. July was the most extreme month, which we've kind of felt that in the marketplace. It felt like the first week of July really didn't have a lot of movement at all. But after that, kind of back to our normal paces. So August will be our real teller of how that fall market is going to go. We're getting close to that. I would be confident that, we're going to be down some every month for the rest of the year, but not in an extreme way. We still have plenty of buyers and sellers that have to move, that need to come into this marketplace, first-time home buyers, that it's the right time for them to make these decisions. It's just about getting accustomed to the new payments that they're going to be paying monthly. And not necessarily being married to the rates and understanding what that environment looks like. So here's our percentage sold price to list price. This is the last slide I want to talk about, but I think this one's also really important for your clients. When we talk about bidding wars and we talk about where that's taking place in the market and how frequently you're still experiencing it, we're down to 99.6% listed sale price. We're quickly moving into more of that fall market feel, even though we're in the middle of summer. Because like I said, we kind of got to that a couple months early because of those interest rate hikes. Now we're starting to see it slow down, but there's still bidding wars in certain parts of the market. That 2 to 2.5 million range is still at 103% listed sale price. So that being said, certain parts of the market are still performing exceptionally well. We just got to really start paying attention. The attached market, that's this one here, 101% listed sale price. It's lagging about a month. Well, I guess it's leading by about a month closer to normal. And that being said, it's going to continue to slow as well. I would expect to land 98, 99% listed sale price, 97 maybe, by the end of the year, which is actually much more like 2018, 2019, right? We're just getting back to our new normal, and we're going to see that normal seasonality take place in the markets again. So we've got to reacclimate to what we used to experience for all of you who've been in real estate for a while in that 2018, 2019 period. Rising inventory environments, we still have really good listing environments, and we still have a lot of people doing deals. So I think we're going to get back there. I think I have a lot of confidence in this market, but we definitely need to understand when we're working with clients and at what price point, what that means. So thank you for everything, and this is Anthony at Land Title. We'll catch you in the next video.